on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to talk about production software programs. I'm going to give out my personal top 3 best production software DAWs, programs, whatever you want to call it. And this is meant for beginner producers who don't really have a clue in what to use to make beats. And this is also meant for hip-hop beats, so like the real hip-hop beats, sampling and that kind of stuff. I know all the ins and outs of the software programs that I'm going to talk about today. So this is just my personal top 3, and I know a lot of people are thinking right now that it really doesn't matter what type of software you're going to use, because if you're a good producer, you're going to make good beats in any type of software, and that is true. But I'm just gonna help the beginner producers out in choosing the right software that fits their needs. And yeah, so it's just gonna be my personal top 3. So let's get started with number 3. Number 3 on my list is Ableton Live, and I've used Ableton Live a lot. Ableton Live Suite 9 is the one that I used. And what I like about Ableton is that it has a lot of really good instruments already included in the software, so you don't even have to use a lot of VST instruments because it has a lot of great sounds already included. So that's something that's really important to me, because I'm not one of those guys who wants to spend like a lot of money on buying VSTs and all that stuff. So to me, it's important if a production software has a lot of good sounds included already. So that's something I like. Another thing that I like is the sequencer. It's really simple to program drums or to lay down any type of instrument or any type of sound. It's really easy to edit. It's really easy to record. So that's something that I really like. It's also used in live performance a lot, Ableton, so that's something that's also really good about it. And yeah, it's just a great software. It's really easy to use. If you watch a couple of tutorials on YouTube, you'll find that it's really simple to use. So yeah, Ableton is definitely number 3 on my list. And also a good thing about Ableton is that you can use external VST plugins like Contact, or like yeah, you know, just external VSTs. You can use it very easily with Ableton. So yeah, Ableton is number 3 on my list. Now let's move on to number 2. Number 2 on my list is FL Studio, or Fruity Loops as it's called. A lot of people started out making music, making beats using FL Studio, including me. It's the first production software that I used when I started making beats back in 2010 or something. Yeah, and it's really easy to use. You don't even have to like watch tutorials, because it has like the step sequencer where you can just fill in the little squares with your pencil, and you can just create a drum pattern. So it's probably the easiest software to use if you're gonna program drums, and if you're gonna make house music and that type of stuff. It's really easy to lay down something, to program drums. You got the piano roll, which is also great. You can write down your notes, whatever you want to do. So it's really good. One thing I don't really like about Fruity Loops is that it doesn't really have a lot of good stock instruments included for hip-hop. So I'm just gonna say this, for hip-hop. Now I don't mean house music or any other type of electronic music, but for hip-hop music, does not really have the greatest sounds included. So you will need some external VSTs for like say your bass. If you want to have a really great bass, you might need to get an external bass plugin or an external piano plugin or that kind of stuff, because it doesn't really have that included. Another thing that I really like about FL Studio is that you can easily use external VSTs like Contact. So that's great about FL Studio. And for beginners, I think it's for total complete beginners, I think is the best, the easiest way to make beats. That's what I gotta say about FL Studio. And also for trap beats and that kind of stuff, it's probably the best software because it's really easy to create your 808s with the piano roll and stuff, and use different notes really easily. So FL Studio is definitely a good one. Now let's move on to number one. So number one on my list, my personal list, is gotta be Reason. And why do I choose Reason? Well, Reason is, for me, is the best production software to make sample beats in, because you can get the recycle, and recycle basically is just some sort of a plugin which you use to chop your samples in, and you can really go into detailed chopping using recycle. You can chop with your mouse, and you can just create like as many chops as you want, and when you're done you can also change the pitch and all that kind of stuff in recycle. And when you're done chopping, you're gonna save the file, and it will become a Rex file. And after that, you go into Reason, and you can open this Rex file, and you can just set the settings that the samples won't overlap each other. So you can just go on your keyboard and play all the samples that you've just chopped up. So for sampling, it's definitely the number one plugin for me. Software program for me. And also it has a lot of stock sounds that are really good. They got a lot of bass plugins. They got a lot of Rhodes and pianos and horns and that kind of stuff. So you don't even need to get external VSTs. So that's another great thing about Reason. It has like an amazing stock library, a lot of drum sounds, a lot of drum loops, a lot of brass, a lot of bass, and a lot of pads also, and strings. You really barely need to use external VSTs. And I personally use Reason 5. I need to update it, I know, because they got like Reason 6, 7, and 8 right now, and 8 is even better. It has a lot of more capabilities and stuff. So yeah, Reason is the number one on my list. And if you're gonna make sample beats, you're a total beginner, I suggest you're gonna get acquainted with Reason, because it's the best. Trust me, it's the best program to make sample beats. So yeah, that's my my top 3 list. Thank y'all for watching. If you liked the video, please click on the like button, subscribe, and I'll be back for more videos next week. Peace.